In this section, we'll just have sort of a potpourri of interesting cultural and social events in the 1960s, sort of a timeline. They don't really tie together, but collectively give a picture of the 60s. First, in 1960, the actress Joanne Woodward got the first star on the new Hollywood Walk of Fame. Also in 1960, the Coca-Cola Company introduced a brand new soft drink called Sprite. That same year, the world's first weather satellite was launched, TIROS-1, by the United States. In 1962, Seattle opened the first World's Fair in the United States since World War II. It was supposed to be themed on the 21st century, and as part of that theme, they had built the Space Needle, which is still iconic in Seattle today. In 1962, they developed the first pull-top soda cans, which continued until the 1980s when you get the pop-top cans without the piece you throw off. And in 1962, Diet Right became the first low-sugar soda, followed the next year by the soda Tab. In 1962, the Supreme Court ruled in the case Engel versus Vitale that school-led prayers were unconstitutional. They were a violation of church and state. The following year, 1963, the Supreme Court ruled that reciting the Lord's Prayer was a violation of the Constitution. In 1962, Sam Walton opened his first Walmart store in Rogers, Arkansas. That same year, Spider-Man made his first appearance in the Amazing Fantasy comic book. In 1963, the United States Postal Service began using zip codes to help mail speed up. In 1964, the Ford Motor Company introduced its iconic Sportster, the Ford Mustang, which became a bestseller. In 1964, the computer coding language BASIC, which means Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code, was introduced. In 1964, Hasbro Toy Company introduced the first G.I. Joe doll. At the same time, the boxer Cassius Clay, later famously Muhammad Ali, defeated the world heavyweight champion Sonny Liston in a very famous boxing match. In a really significant event in 1964, the Surgeon General's report concluded that cigarettes were hazardous to your health. Not surprisingly, therefore, the following year, 1965, Congress passed the Federal Cigarette Labeling and Advertising Act. What it did was it banned all broadcast advertising of cigarettes, and it required a statement on all cigarette packaging that cigarettes was hazardous to your health. In 1965, the first miniskirt was introduced. The following year, 1966, the first Star Trek episode appeared on TV. In January 1967, there was Super Bowl I when the Green Bay Packers smashed the Kansas City Chiefs. That same year, 1967, there was a first heart transplant. The first successful one was in South Africa, but it quickly came to the United States. In 1968, rock came to Broadway when the musical Hair first appeared. In 1969, ARPANET first appeared. It was the computer's first network. It was funded by the Defense Department and it connected a number of research computers. That year, the comedy troupe Monty Python began airing in Great Britain. And finally, in 1969, the iconic counterculture biker movie starring Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper, Easy Rider, appeared to much acclaim. This concludes our sort of jog through the 1960s timeline.